Are the New Age communities today simply just a new cage? And I'm answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like there's something in your end table that you this too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday Night Live. I am here. Jeez. Sorry for that, guys, for that little mishap. The camera wasn't turning on, but you all hear me breathing. So welcome aboard. How is your 2024 going so far, guys? Let's see who's in the room. Neptune Girl, welcome. Erica, Astro Design Dom, welcome. Ali, welcome. Christopher Witecki, welcome. Sydney, my love, welcome. Ali, welcome. Chelsea, hello. Rashida, you are not late. You're right on time, actually. Madeline, welcome. Lisa, hello there. Noel, great to see you. Yes, that was actually my intro, was my song Culture. You can look up Scott Cruz Culture on Apple Music, Spotify. I have more music there as well. I'm actually writing new music now. I will be pushing a song next month, a new song, so that'd be fun as well. We don't have Nina tonight. The mod Nina won't be here, so David Cruz, which is my mom Jennifer Cruz, will be helping out, answering your questions. And so those who are in the room, Christian, welcome. Michelle Ball, welcome. Deanna, hello. Katie, hi. And those who are watching, welcome. And sorry for the little glitch before. We are now live. Finally, you have me. You see me. You hear me. And maybe it's better to see me than hear me because I'm still getting over a sinus infection. So you might hear me kind of do my little sniffles and spraying and coughing, but I'm over being held back by sinus infections and so forth. So what would those of you who are new, let's do my overlay here. If you want to, purchase a question, $15 for card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions. Get them in now. I know a lot of you guys have already gotten them in prior to starting, so that's good. And those who are new, I do start with a collective reading. I do use tarot to do so. I am not a tarot reader, but I use tarot because I'm a psychic medium. I don't need them, but are good for collective purposes like this. And then we'll get into the topic. And the topic today is New Age, New Cage. Is a lot of the new age ideas and philosophies really putting people into bondage, and so we'll get into that, at least my point of view on such, and then we'll get into the live readings. All right, Regina, welcome aboard. So let's get to the collective read. I don't want to stall this any longer. We've already kind of wasted 15 minutes on the technical difficulties, and boy, 2024 has been. I have been sick the whole 2024. I know a lot of people have been ill too, and also a lot of people have been, having a crazy 2024. I hope I'm not the only one. But what is your 2024 looking like, guys, in the room? Has it been kind of wacky, cray-cray? How's it been? Has it been kind of a rough ride already? I feel like the beginning of 2024 is kind of like a detox. we're kind of raising consciousness. And so, especially when you're kind of purging certain, things with the body, it detoxes. So I think we're also kind of energetically detoxing right now, which could be the reasons why a lot of us have been getting sick, and a lot of us have also been experiencing a lot of heaviness or change or technical difficulties, so to speak. So yeah, I think it's been an interesting 2024, but it's almost like I say it's a spiritual detox, because we are raising consciousness, and so we are raising frequency. So a purging comes with that process too. So I'm just shuffling the cards to see what Spirit has to say for the collective. And when I say collective, I'm talking about those who are in the room, those who are watching. And when I talk about the collective in reference to, collective consciousness, I'll differentiate the two so we understand. But right now we're doing the collective read. And I know last week it was about setting boundaries, and let's see if that's kind of a continuation from last week. I tend to say we've got like a little soap opera going on here. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I've also been experiencing a lot of the ringing of the ears as well. Okay. Interesting. Okay, this is interesting that the Two Swords is kind of in between the Star and the Moon card. So let's see what that means. Let's pull some oracles. And let's channel what Spirit has to say for the collective. It's really going to be very simple with the collective read. You guys have to understand you are the center of your universe. And I'm not going to, I'm not trying to practice and preach any type of narcissistic type of traits or tendencies. But I think we need to understand, especially those of us who are very much spiritually aware, that we do need to come first. And a lot of those who are in the room, we're all, they're in the room and also watching, we're all empaths. And so we are all those who are caretakers, want to help other people and, nurture others. And so we have to remind ourselves that we are number one. We are the star of our universe, and that we are the ones that are kind of dictating what's really happening in our lives. We cannot forget that, because sometimes we feel torn between, what we can do for ourselves and what we can do for others. And then we kind of lose sight of the power that we really do have and need for ourselves to be able to help others. And so we got to stop allowing ourselves to be in a tug of war between ourselves and other people, and, who's more important and where am I going here? And so we need to understand we have to be the foundation first. We have to nurture our foundation first in order for us to be able to nurture others. The very simple message that we can't, attend to somebody else's garden unless we tend to ours. Very cliche sentiment, but it's very true. And so now is a time that we kind of rebuild and restructure our foundation, both intellectually, spiritually, and also physically, right? And so, a lot of this has to come with even acceptance. 2024, and I've been saying, is be a year of a lot of movement. And I said 2023 was a year of movement too, but it was more about movement of the subconscious. 2024's movement to me will be more physical, more conditional expressions, right? And things actually coming to manifestation. So when we come into a newer paradigm, a newer flow or rhythm like that, we need to understand there are certain aspects of things we are going to need to let go. Last week we talked about setting those boundaries. This week we're talking about actually letting go of those that we don't need to have boundaries to begin with. You know what I'm saying? And so letting go of those individuals that are really kind of oversaturating our consciousness, our emotions, our space, and understand what placement people really do deserve to be in our lives. Do they deserve to be in the forefront, the back front, acquaintance, arm's length? It's really time. It's time to differentiate, and it doesn't have to be so black and white that they're in my life all the time and they're completely out of my life. There could be different levels of dynamic to which they engage with our lives. So right now it's time, Spirit is saying for you guys to understand the good distractions and the bad distractions, and understand the bad distractions that are pulling from you unnecessarily, that are draining your resources, your intellectual resources, your spiritual resources, and it's time to cut it out. It's time to really kind of let go of that now. So, again, setting boundaries. Last week we talked about setting boundaries, which is very important as far as setting boundaries of understanding how to preserve your own energy. But now it's also understand within your energetic sphere, who are you welcoming in? And how much space do you have in that energetic sphere? Not everybody can fit in there. Not everybody can come on, move on in, right? And so it's time to start letting go of those that are causing a tug of war in your life. Because those who are entering your lives should be an asset, an addition to what you're already doing, who you are. Okay? Your team should be very supportive, and vice versa with you and being part of their team. It should be very supportive. Anyone that's causing that type of friction and that tug and that imbalance needs to go and be put in the proper placement. And it's also, it's a good time now to understand a lot of the, I would say, secrets, the things that have been hidden, right? Now, a lot of you guys I'm talking to are very intuitive, and a lot of you guys have a lot of speculations, right, of things that might be going wrong, or speculations of things that, that you feel like are going a certain way, but you really don't have the proof of such. It's time now to really use your intuition to understand the things that may appear to be secretive or not really revealed in a sense. That you need to understand that is an answer in itself. The fact that you feel somebody might be withholding information or actually being very secretive or dishonest with you, that in itself is a message that you're not connecting with that individual, nor are they being transparent with you. So it's time to put those people who are not being transparent, who are not being honest, putting them in the proper place in your life, if not completely removing them from your life. Okay? Now, I'm not for one to say people are disposable, people are not, but we also have to be very keen on who we are allowing ourselves to connect with, because, those who surround us in our lives have a great energetic influence on our overall well-being as well. And I saw a meme, and I wish I could just put it up on the screen, where it was two fruits kind of hanging from a tree. And one fruit was actually rotting so badly, and the other fruit was completely healthy, but it started to rot on the place it was touching on the other fruit. You see, because even though we can be strong, when we surround ourselves with people who are toxic, or surround ourselves with people who are actually energetic vampires, it will eventually start affecting you, because you're allowing yourself to connect in with that energy. And so therefore, there will be repercussions for you allowing that energy to be around you. Okay? That is a choice. So, again, you can be very strong and say, allow someone to keep punching you in the gut and can be very physically strong. Over time, it's going to start getting to you. Okay? And so, same thing is true energetically, okay? As much as you can be strong and handle people's problems and solve people's problems, the more you keep infiltrating that energy in your life, it's going to affect you, and if not, pull from you. And if not, you'll start becoming like the other person. You'll start saying the same things, feeling the same things. So it's very important to understand you need not that tug of war anymore in your life, and you need not the anchors that are preventing you from moving forward simply because you feel bad for somebody, or simply because you have history with somebody. History with somebody is not a good reason to have them stick around and to encompass your energetic space, sphere, and also your intellect, right? And how you're processing things in your life. Not good enough, okay? Not good enough reason. And I don't care if it's a family member, I don't care if it's a ex-relationship, if it's a friend, doesn't matter what the context of the relationship is. Because at this stage, it's time for acceptance, because you got to start accepting who you are and who you are also, I would say this again, it's time to start accepting who you are, but also understanding the people around you and who they are not. Because many times we think we can change people, or they will change if we just kind of give them time. It's time to understand and accept that some people are just not going to change. And very understand to accept that idea and really look deep down inside within your own soul. Understand how pure your soul really is. It's okay to want to love. It's okay to want people to change. But you have to go based on how they are presenting themselves to you. Because everyone has possibilities, and we can all see the benefits and the possibilities and people all we want. But what they're presenting may be a complete dichotomy to what you're seeing, and they would never live up to that expectation. So preserve the purity within and accept the people in your lives that are just not going to change. Accept that. Accept them for being out of alignment. Accept them for being toxic. Because when you accept it, you'll say, well, it's not my job to change it. And if they're not going to change it, it's time to separate from that. Okay? Because you cannot let these people in your lives or these connections kind of overshadow your beauty. You can't let them overshadow your power. You cannot let them overshadow your good intentions overall. And, intentions are one thing, but, you want to live your life to where your intentions become a reality. And if there's anybody in your reality that's preventing your intentions from becoming an actual reality, they gotta go. They gotta go. And so now we talked about before about setting boundaries. Now it's time about letting go of the people that you know that are just kind of a stale fart. Okay? On many lives ago, and those who are in the room probably remember, I call it like a Febrezed watered down fart. Some people just linger, and sometimes they bring something fresh to the table, but at the end of the day, it's just the same old stale crap that doesn't change. You don't want a Febrezed watered down fart in your life, do you? So it's time to clear the air out and clear that energy out. Let me see, and I'll pull a couple more cards to kind of see if there's anything additional Spirit wants to say. But a lot of you guys are holding on to relationships out of empathy, and that's not helping you. You know, being empathetic for the sake of being empathetic is not beneficial or helpful, especially if it becomes an anchor. You got to use your empathy wisely, but also use your intuition to understand if you are actually projecting your empathy and giving your empathy in a fashion that is balanced and in order with natural law. Because when I say natural law, it is all about evolution. We're here to evolve the soul through the physical format. And anything that prevents evolution is going against natural law. It's going against the essence and the ebb and flow of life, in a sense. So if someone is preventing you from evolving, you're actually going against the natural essence of life, and then, which is evolution. So no matter what, you need to allow yourself to evolve, and if people are preventing you from evolving, then they gotta go. That's gonna be my very simplistic response is, they gotta go. All right? I'll pull a few more cards, and then I'll get to the topic, the New Age, New Cage, which I've talked about this before, the New Age, New Cage idea. But I want to kind of dive into this a little bit more. You know. And then I'm going to reverse. That's interesting. A lot of you guys are afraid of just being judgmental. I think that's why you guys keep a lot of these connections active still. You're afraid of being too judgmental and being too cold. But let me tell you something. Sometimes you got to assess the situation. Doesn't mean you're being judgmental. Assessing the situation and calling the situation out for what it is does not mean you're being judgmental. It just means that you're being clear and you're being, I would say, specific and perceptive of what's really going on. So you can actually make the right decisions and conclusions about the circumstances with these individuals in your life, or even just conditional experiences that are holding you back. So don't worry about being judgmental. Judging someone is saying that they have to experience some sort of, punishment and how dare they be a certain way. That's being judgmental. But by assessing the situation, saying, look, this situation isn't benefiting me. It's not on board. It's not in alignment to the momentum and the rhythm I'm in moving forward. So therefore, my decision is to disconnect from it. That's not being judgmental. It's not being judgmental. Like we were saying before, accept how they are. Accept the disalignments that they have, accept the challenges that they have in their lives, and accept even the shortcomings that they have. You can accept that, say that's where they're at. Because when you accept it, you're not actually being judgmental. But you can assess the situation, detach, and allow yourself to not feel so bad that you're judging them, but say you're actually allowing there to be a space between your growth and their growth so they can learn what they need to learn to expand themselves, and likewise. Okay, it's time to find your group of people, guys. It's time to find your troop, your tribe. Okay, that's what it's time for now. And anyone who's kind of half-assing things in your life, time to clear it out. Because let me tell you, it's gonna be very important that you do so now in the beginning of 2024. Because once the momentum really picks up in 2024, it's gonna be a crazy freaking year. I'm just gonna let you know it's gonna be like, and those who have not been preparing and not, finding their balance, prior to this year, it's gonna feel like you're being thrown around in a tornado. I've been saying this for a couple weeks now. So if you're not in tune and you're not being objective and also conscious of what you're doing with your relationships, you're gonna feel like you're on Mr. Toad's ride. Crazy things just happening and just being bounced around in reality. But a lot of you guys in the room, I don't feel like that's gonna be you, but you wanna make sure you're getting these things on board. All right. I think that's good with the collective. I don't want to spend too much time because I know I have a lot of questions to get to. And I'm going to do them very quick as well because I don't want to burn out. And we'll pull a couple more oracle cards and I'm going to move on. Change in action. Change in action, right? So make that change because things are going to take action. Let's be very simple about that. So once you make those changes, and when I say changes, we're talking about like, think about reordering your life in a sense, your reality. Make those changes, make those tweaks. And then when you start taking action, things start really kind of falling in favor of you. Spirit starts working with you. And this is kind of... do you mind, Neptune Girl, if I put you on blast here? Sorry to put you on blast here. I just thought it was hilarious after my comment. Okay, let's get to the topic now. New Age, is it bringing us the new cage, right? Is that the new cage in our lives? And the one thing I've always been very vocal about lately is the law of attraction, how the misguidance of that has kind of put people in bondage, right? They've made it all about focusing on things. And if you focus on something long enough, then you'll attract it into your life. That is not true for me, because we have a soul evolution, right? We have a soul purpose. We have a destiny. We have a path that we're creating in this lifetime. We did not come here to incarnate here to say, I'm going to incarnate into this dense life to focus on what I want, to keep getting what I want. That's not why we came down here. We came incarnated in this reality to say, I want to evolve my soul, and I need to learn to be able to do so. And I'm going to learn through different challenges. I need to complete certain karmic cycles that I've had from my previous, incarnations. And I need to evolve to grow my soul. That's why we're here, right? And so when the law of attraction starts redirection the focus on, just focus on what you want, just focus on what you want, it's taking away the purpose of the actual soul. And it's not actually focusing on spirit. It's actually giving credit to the universe. And I say the universe is just a mechanism. It's just a structure. The universe isn't granting you anything. The universe is responding to you in a sense, and it's reflections of you. But we as soul consciousness and the connection to spirit that we have, that's what's dictating reality. And so I'm seeing a lot of these ideologies saying that. I just saw something recently, a positive thinking, page. And they were saying, you cannot talk in the past, you cannot talk in the future, you can only speak in the present. That's how you must speak in order for the universe to vibrate and to manifest what you want. That is just a bunch of hogwash, a bunch of mental gymnastics that does absolutely nothing, that actually puts you in a state of lack. Do you know why? Because it's nearly impossible to disconnect from your past and to disconnect with the ideas of the future. It's impossible. We are living we're in a spectrum of life here through different incarnations, and we're learning from our past, and we're creating a story and an evolution of the soul and how we're merging into the future. So we need to talk about the past, present, and future. We need to talk about all of that, right? And to get a good, I would say, perspective on our existence. So just to say, I'm only thinking about, I have things now, I have it now, I'm good now, I'm wealthy now, that does nothing but put you into more of a stage of lack and a disconnect from your actual soul purpose and the bigger picture of your life experience. And it actually puts you in a stage of focusing on materialism. I'm focusing on what I want. It's a relationship I want. I gotta get a relationship. I gotta get a relationship. It's money that I want. It's money that I want. You're not evolving anything. And I would say we came here to learn like school. These new age philosophies are like basically saying, when you put your child in school and you tell your child, oh, just imagine getting good grades, and you don't have to do anything, just imagine getting good grades and you'll get good grades. It's like saying that. How stupid does that sound? Instead of saying, you go to school, you're gonna learn what you have to learn, apply yourself, and engage and learn more about what you can do, and learn more about your skill sets and expand upon them, and then you'll get good grades. That's how it works. Not that, oh, just imagine you send your child off to school, say, just imagine getting good grades, and you'll get good grades. And the teacher goes, did you imagine? Yes, I can see good grades. Here you go, here's an A+. How stupid does that sound? Excuse me. I'm gonna cough. Whew. How stupid does that sound? We didn't come here for that. We didn't come here to say, I'm just going to focus on what I want, get what I want. We came here to evolve. We came here to learn. And that is why I feel like the New Age community, still dealing with my sinus infection. I told you I'm going to cough at some point, guys. We came here to learn. We did not come here to just get what we want. That's not the point. Getting what we want is a result of our growth. When we understand our purpose and we understand the evolution of the soul, guess what happens? You get what you want. It's a result. Okay, and so I think like a lot of these new age ideologies is just putting the focus on the wrong things, and that's causing people to be more, I would say, in lack and more tortured and more in bondage because they're not growing or learning. They're wondering, why am I not getting what I want? Because they're not focusing enough. They're not being positive enough. They're thinking too much in the past or future. They're not being present enough. Now, not to say that, thinking positively is not a good thing. It's a great thing to encourage yourself, but encouragement is step one. You encourage, then you become, you change behavior, you grow and you evolve. That's the process. And so a lot of these New Age communities are not teaching that. They're not teaching the soul purpose or the soul evolution. They're just teaching about getting things. And again, that puts people in a massive cage, because when we don't understand how to grow and how to evolve the soul, we're going to feel depressed. We're going to feel like very empty. We're going to feel alone. We're going to feel like nothing's working for us. It's going to be very, very negative, and I would say bonding. I don't want to say bondage, but experience that's like bondage. I'm trying to put that in the present. But it's going to keep you in bondage and keep you enslaved to conditional things. And that's what I'm seeing happening more with the New Age communities and ideologies. I think it's important to understand that. Think about your life as a whole. You don't have to just be present thinking and only focus on what you're wanting. You know what you want. Your soul already knows what it wants, and it's going to do what it needs to do to get it. If we learn how to process, if we learn how to grow, if we learn how to, learn more about ourselves and expand it, then the result is we get what we want. So I want to kind of chime in a little bit. I've done this topic before, but I just saw this thing about you cannot think in the past. You cannot think about the future. You can only put everything in the present. It's just a bunch of mental gymnastics. Does nothing. And to prove this point, how many times you guys feared something so much and it never happened? How many times have you actually guys have gotten blessings that you didn't even think of and then just got served these blessings? Where'd that come from? So I want you guys to understand the differences between your spiritual evolution and soul growth versus just thinking positively and focusing on conditions, which is distracting from your spiritual growth, which is actually keeping you stuck. It's keeping you stuck because on the soul level, we don't want the physical things. We don't care about the physical things. We use the physical things as experiences, as tools. What we want is revelation. What we want is growth, and what we want is complete understanding of the self. That's what we truly want. And so I'm not going to go any more on that. It's time to get to the questions now. If you guys have you want to chime in a little bit on the discussion, chime on in. But for now, I'm going to get to the live readings. Okay? Let's see what's going on in the room. Here. A lot of conversation. I'm kind of lost in the conversation in the room, but I'm going to get to the questions. Okay. So now I see Deanna, there's 2 questions here, so I'm going to go do that because I'm seeing that some of you guys have done twice. And so I'll just do that now. So, Deanna, first question is, wait a second, love. Okay, here you are. On read a few weeks ago, you mentioned a distraction. Have I met this person? The person was new, Deanna. The distraction is a newer person. So it's not some of the past. So if you have met someone new and you feel your distraction, then yes. But to me, that distraction was somebody new coming in, not somebody of the past, like a newer energy. And I said distraction in the sense of a very good distraction, okay? Not a distraction that's bad, but a good distraction that leads you into a better way of thinking when it comes to relationships, where you feel freer. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by that, okay? So it seems someone new, and I feel like it would be this year. I feel like you're kind of on the verge of that, if not already, okay? And your second question was, my neighbor and I just recently made a comment that her husband mentioned swinging. She acted shocked, and she was trying to find out if I was into that and wanted to. Disclaimer, I've never done... Well... Didn't I tell you about distractions here? Okay, so you have many distractions going on. Not a bad thing. What I want you to do, Deanna, is in this situation, because you never really asked a question, you just kind of made a comment, a statement. I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to explore? I want you to ask yourself, if these circumstances are a good way to get out of an older paradigm and to get yourself out of an older rhythm. I want you to ask yourself that, because again, these situations are being presented to you as a way to get you to think outside of your paradigm. So again, when I say meet someone as a distraction, it could be multiple too. It could just be in general that you're being distracted from the old rhythm to pull you out into something new. So again, so it's kind of confirming what I was saying to you before, is that, you know, these distractions are trying to say, try something new. It's time to try something new, you know? So, and ask yourself, would you be willing to try something new in that way? And of course it made you uncomfortable, it's new. You don't have to take the offer, but just think of the fact of, it's almost helping you think outside the box, Deanna. It's almost helping you to understand that, you know, I necessarily wouldn't do something like that, but, you know, it's pulling you outside the box. Think of it in that context, you know. Not so much that you have to go with this, but it's almost getting your mind, like I said before, to think outside the box. And I think that's a positive thing. So, clove, oil of oregano. So, so that's how I want you to see that, Deanna. All right, you'll get other opportunities that present to you, but yeah, I have a throat coat. I've been doing throat coat all day, and I have oil of oregano with clove and peppermint. I've been doing a lot. It's just been 2 weeks, but I'm on the tail end of it. So, okay, hope that makes sense, Deanna. Stephanie, and you know I'm going to say it like this, Stephanie Panavara. You know, I always goof up your last name. I'm so excited about what I'm working on, especially a deal from a showing I did today. Need positive vibes, please. Well, that's not really a question, Stephanie. I will send you positive vibes. Everybody in the room, can you send Mrs. Stephanie positive vibes for this new deal that she's working on today? Let's give her all positive vibes, face her, okay? And let's all focus on Stephanie and give her good vibes in this new deal today. I'll pull some cards in it, Stephanie, because you really didn't ask a question, but I kind of see what they're saying. It's gonna be a very prosperous year. I'm gonna say that right now. Stephanie, be a very prosperous year with new connections. You need to, you know, of course, stand your ground on things, especially with certain relationships that are in your life. You need to stand your ground, because you do not want those external relationships, as I was saying in the collective read, to bleed into your intellect that could affect your business relationships. They're saying stand your ground, but I think it's going to be a very lucrative, financially lucrative year for you. And so, and I think there's going to be a lot of different changes, a lot of different connections and contractual things, as well, with properties and you know, the real estate sector and events and all that great stuff. So, and organizing events. So there's a lot busyness going on. So that's a good thing. They just want to make sure you stand your ground. Okay, stand your ground is what they're saying. And I think you'll have a lot of great opportunities this year. Work is going to be top notch for you. Your business, your connections will be very, very top notch this year. So like I said before, either you're throwing events or, you know, and I see like 2 different properties or 2 different, you know, connection to properties in a sense, that will be very beneficial. Unless they're 2 properties or 2 contractual connections. All right. So I like that. I like the energy for your work this year. All right. All right, Brenda. Let me change this music and put on my theta waves. I want some theta waves for the readings, yeah? Brenda Coach or Koch? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Moving soon. Should I choose the house or the apartment? Well, these are questions I don't like. I can't make a decision for you. So, and those who are in the room, don't ever go to psychic and have a psychic tell you what to do. We can give you insight on the specific options, which I'm going to do for this question, and see what will be more of a match. I cannot tell you, choose this. We are not creating your life for you. So please do not ask questions about what you should do. Okay? That is not our job to tell you what to do. It's our job to read it for you. Okay? So I will read the choice of the house or the apartment and see which one maybe if there's any issues with either one, or if there's issues with okay, Stephanie, I'll get back to your second question after this one I just started with Brenda. Let me see with the house versus the apartment, because I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's not my job. But I'm going to see what's a good vibe either one. You know, it feels like the my vibe is that I think that the apartment would be a good way to go for now, because I feel like you'll eventually find a home after that would work for you. Okay, if you decided to go with the house now, it feels too cumbersome for some reason. Even if you're just renting the house, it feels too cumbersome. I feel like the choice of the apartment will feel more in flow and a more, I would say, a better vibe energetically, less cumbersome, maybe less problematic actually. Maybe I'm feeling like the home would be more problematic for some reason, and not because it's a house. I mean, that doesn't have to be that way. It could just mean because of the fact of, maybe who you're renting from or who you're purchasing from could just be more problematic. So I feel like the path would lead that you go for the apartment and then another home comes out slightly after that. But I can't tell you what to do, but it feels like a better path to go with the apartment right now. But that's based on my read, But I'm only reading that because I feel like the apartment seems less problematic and the house seems more problematic for some reason. And again, it could be reversed. The house could be very chill and the apartment could be very problematic. It could be either way. But that's how it's reading for me. That the apartment be less problematic, and then of course you'll find a better home or house after that fact. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Stephanie, your second question, get on par with that. What do you get about Dominic? What do you get from him towards me with Dominic? Hey. It's funny. I feel like there's an interest there. I can see kind of a sly type of, summing you up type of energy. I feel like he's summing you up a little bit. But there's also this dichotomy to where he's summing you up, but then he's kind of like not really making a move or taking any action in a sense. So whether that's romantically or even could be like a business partnership, could be summing you up but not making a move. There's a interest, but then a hesitation at the same time. He appears to be very laid back to me in a sense that, he kind of is very chill. But I think, again, there's an interest there, but there's also hesitation. I feel like he's summing you up, is what I feel like. So, what do I feel about his energy? It's all right. I mean, I feel like he's he's a genuine guy, but I get a little bit of a player vibe from him, There's a little bit of a player vibe going on a little bit like that. Or there's kind of like a Casanova type of vibe, It's kind of like, yeah, I mean, it could be a fun thing if it goes somewhere, but again, I think he's just summing you up at the moment. He's my kickboxing lead coach. His energy is at another level, and he flirts so much. We do, both during our classes. Yeah, I mean, again, he's still summing you up, right? Like I said, kind of like Casanova, charming, but like not doing anything about it, Again, could be fun, could be, but again, not anything long term. I just don't get long term with that. I just get this like him smiling and just being very, that I don't know what to call that, like a playa. If you use that terminology, like a playa. It's playful, yes. He can't really. Yeah, but he's trying to sum you up. But it's you know what it feels like to me, Stephanie? It feels like high school or college. It doesn't feel like mature adults. It feels immature. But if it's fun, Yes, it could be a good distraction. And I say that right as you put that in about being a distraction. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, Sydney Aaron. Did anybody use PayPal? I don't even know. I didn't check PayPal. I'm going to... Hi, I love you. I love you too. I'm going to lunch this weekend with my Aunt Susan, who I haven't seen since 2019. In Insight, I feel like she has some news. Thank you. Does she have news, though? The aunt? Let me kind of see where she's at. I don't know if it's particularly good news. She might say maybe she's ill or something. I think it might not be good news. It might be kind of, you know, she's ill or has an illness and is kind of, you know, connecting with people and reaching out to people. I'm definitely feeling that, like an illness or something. And you'll have to get back to me on that too, Sydney, because I'm curious about that. But it feels like she's like come to terms. She has an illness and she's kind of connecting with people in that sense because she's ill. Or realize she has a diagnosis of something, you know. I'm not really getting what that is because I'm so detached from everything right now because you're on a text and she's somewhere. But I feel like it could be, you know, maybe she has cancer or maybe she has something serious in that sense that could be manageable. But I feel like that might be something that she's, you know, wanting to share, you know. I don't know if they're saying something about like a property too with her. I don't know. Maybe she moves or maybe she's getting a new property. Something with a property too. I don't know. But I feel like there's something. Maybe she found out she has an illness or something of that nature. What, the illness is that you're asking about? Is it about her or my mom? I feel like she has something. She has news about an illness. She's bringing that news, I feel like. You know? So I don't know. I don't know if it's her mom or if it's her. I feel like she's bringing the news of an illness or someone being sick. I don't get either way with your mom or her on that question. So it's neutral, which means it could be both. You know, and maybe you're not supposed to know right now. Maybe you're supposed to wait until she gives you the information, because that happens too. But yeah, news of an illness and something in regards to a property. It feels preventative, or not preventative, but it feels like trying to get things in order. You know what I'm saying? It feels like trying to get things in order is what I feel like. And I think that's what your aunt is trying to do. And more I kind of sit on it might be in relation to your mom. You know? The more I'm sitting with this, because I feel like your aunt's trying to be like a preventative and trying to be like a... or trying to get things in order. So it might be because of your mom. Now that I'm like kind of sitting with that more. That she's coming to and trying to get things in order in that fashion. So again, there's something with a property or something of that nature. All right. Okay. Grace Bergeron. Card pull the question. Okay. So first the card pull, I guess, and we'll do the second question. Oh, thank God my cough is not mucusy anymore. That's a good word, Cindy. I think buffer is a good word. She's being like a buffer, your aunt. That's what it feels like to me. You know? Okay, let's go to card pull and a question. Okay. Interesting with this. Let me see. Let me pull a clarification on that. The card pull this is for Grace Bergeron, because I did the card pull first, and then we'll get into the question. I really feel like I'm gonna say you've been defeated with work, or defeated in how you've been doing things with, financial aspects or investments and work. You're just kind of like, I'm kind of done with what I've been doing. And if you're not there now, you'll get there. And I feel like you're like now on a mission to, instead of doing what you feel like you should be doing for work or should be doing in life, you're now saying, I'm focused on happiness right now. I'm really focused on what makes me happy, what I need to do to make myself happy. And I feel like that's going to be a transition, a transformation this year, is realizing that. Kind of, you're done doing the things that you feel like you had to be doing and focusing on what makes you happy and discovering what that might be. A lot of has to do, and I think not so much with career, but they're saying you have to be writing. You need to be like expressing yourself through writing somehow. And that might come to you this year, because you're going to have a transformative experience of finding things that you need to do for yourself and to make yourself happy. And with the Ace of Pentacles in the final positioning, it's almost like saying, well, that you'll realize that what you find passion in actually could be rather profitable. And you could actually make some money doing what you didn't think you could do of what you love. You could actually make that profitable. So I think there's going to be a realization with you of that this year. It may start with writing, and somehow, because I keep seeing you like journaling and blogging in that nature, it may start there. But doing something where you feel that makes you happy, that instead of what has been kind of stale, and just doing because you have to do it, that paradigm shifts this year. Okay, so that's the card pull. And now the question that you asked me was, what is causing my sudden stomach pain after eating and headaches, and how can I fix that? Sometimes so much of a good thing isn't good. I don't know. I feel like you're eating too much greens, or maybe you're relying too much on greens. I just see a lot of greens for some reason, and I don't feel like you're getting enough nutrient, like healthy fats. I've seen this a few times before, and I think that you need to have more fruits. Bring more fruits into your diet, bring more nutrient-dense foods in. It feels like a nutrient deficiency to me, and a lack of healthier fats. You might be relying too much on things that don't provide much nutrient. And they just keep showing me green, so maybe you're relying too much on like a salad instead of actually allowing yourself to have more healthier fats and engaging more with nutrient-dense foods. That's the issue I'm sensing. And I think that, of course, the simplistic thing is more probiotics would be great, and having probiotics in your system to help with the digestive system, and fermented foods in that sense. But your headaches is stemming from the same thing, as it's lack of nutrient. You're being nutrient deficient. That's where I'm getting the headaches from too. And, excuse me, and I don't feel like there's enough. The reason why I said healthier fats, I don't think there's a lot of lubrication in your gut. I think that's what's causing maybe an over-processing, which is what's also giving you the stomach pain and then also the headaches, because I think that you're also maybe getting a... fruits make my stomach pain worse. But what kind of fruits are you consuming? Right? And I say fruits as a nutrient-dense food, Grace. So... you have to find a source of healthier fats. I'm sensing you're not having lubrication in your gut. And there needs to be some sort of a recalibration with the gut. Okay? And so, I don't know, I see just a lot of green consumption for some reason. And that's not really, and I feel like the blood is thinning right now. And that's what I'm sensing is causing this kind of imbalance. So I would question you on the fruits that make your stomach pain worse, and also look at the things that you are actually consuming as well. That's because, again, you have to understand your body is like chemistry. It's a chemistry. Let me see if there is deficiencies. You know, my love, they're just saying you need more healthier fats. That's what they're saying. You know, I would definitely take a zinc supplement. Ease up on the greens or ease up on the reliance of greens. They saying you need omegas, so maybe even some fish. Gotta welcome in some fish. Yeah, they're not saying not all fruits are gonna make your stomach pain worse, especially if you take them in little dosages, or like citrus-like. But you know, and this is also emotional, too, FYI. And so I think you're putting a lot of emotional stress on this. So I definitely look into healthier fats. I definitely take a zinc supplement because I feel like that, and I think you need some probiotics. And if you can have any greens, I'll look in some algae. And I definitely would also, you know, hydrate yourself. You know, make sure you're hydrating, getting enough electrolytes. I don't feel your body. It feels it's like grinding on, you know, on unlubricated gears. That's what it feels like to me. And so that's why I'm saying we need some healthier fats in the diet, because I feel like, again, it's just grinding on gears. It's like very like not lubricated. Just imagine how that could be screechy. That's how the body feels to me in the digestive system and the gut. So I definitely would work on gut health, as well as detoxing. And I feel like there's a nutrient deficiency. And I would look into fruits that you can consume, or anything that is nutrient dense. I use fruits as an analogy of nutrient dense foods, and I would look there. Okay? And also understand this is emotional. You're not allowing yourself to purge. You're not allowing yourself to get rid of past circumstances. So this is kind of coinciding and also being a parallel to emotional repression that you're having as well. And so you have to figure out, what are you not digesting, figuratively speaking, and what are you not purging, allowing yourself to purge emotionally. And understand this is working hand in hand here. It's deeper than you think. It's not just says, my body can't process foods. It doesn't work that way. My body just can't eat things that I need. It doesn't work that way. There's a blockage, there's a nutrient deficiency, and there's an emotional blockage on all that. So it's pretty in-depth with that. Okay? And I would see a physician. I would see a nutritionist. I mean, you know, I can get a read, but you should go to a physician, go to a nutritionist, and get your levels checked out. For me, your zinc is low, and I think you need probiotics, as well as some sort of a gut cleanse, on top of the emotional stuff. Okay. I've dealt with many people who've had eating issues like this before, and you know, I've helped them through a lot of things. I come from, you know, a background in nutrition with my family, and I've had people come to me saying, I can't eat this. They basically can't eat anything. I'm like, yeah, that's not your body. That's emotional, and it's also nutrient deficiency. So I've had people that says, I can't eat anything. You know, so a lot of it is emotional in conjunction to. You know, so it's important to identify that. Okay, star Petronella. And you have to be open too, by the way. Grace, you have to be open. You have to be open to exploring different things. Because I'm also sensing you're wanting a fix, but you're closing down to a fix subconsciously. You might want to look into that and ask yourself, are you shutting yourself down from options too? And I think that once you maybe take that objective approach, you might realize, you know what, I've been holding myself back. I haven't been purging emotion, and you know, I think you'll be more clear on looking at what's going on. But that's my read on it. Okay, star Petronella. Hi, inside of my divorce, my ex insists on sharing our prime home and cohabitating. How long will that last? I would prefer not to. Any insight on advice would helpful. I find myself really annoyed and unable to disconnect from this energy. He's around all the time. I think this is pretty point blank on this, star. Going through a divorce and living together with an ex seems really strange to me. Excuse me, guys. Let me get a drink. Okay. I'm just going to call it the obvious because it just sounds like that your ex doesn't want to work on financials. That's why he wants to cohabitate and still share things. Gosh, sorry. Let me spray. Okay. Yes, it just sounds like to me he does not want to deal with the financials. And as long as he can kind of maintain not separating financials, that's what he wants to be doing. So, I think, again, that you need to understand that you need to step your foot down and say, no, we're divorcing because we need to separate. We're divorcing because I don't want to live with you anymore. So your question, how long would it last? If you allow this to happen, it'll last as long as you let it last. It would go on for a while. It'll go on for a while. And so I think that's the problem. And so I feel like this person does not want to deal with financials and split financials. And I'm saying you should go forward with that and split the financials. I don't think that would be very, very, very positive experience cohabitating. I think it's imbalanced. It will be massively imbalanced. And I feel like he'll still be trying to control the financial aspects of things. So, no. Absolutely not. And so you might even just have to find another place for yourself, you know? And so you have a say in this, right? But this is something you have to settle with legalities. You know what I'm saying? And settle it down with legalities. And so it's not gonna end soon, is what I'm saying. If you don't take any action to get outside of that, it's not gonna end very soon. It'll carry on. You know. More so he doesn't want to deal with the financials, including when it comes to the house. And I also feel like it's also manipulation to you as well. I think he's also manipulating the situation quite a bit. So, no. You're not able to disconnect from it because you're still allowing it. You have to think outside the box. Yes, he has a right to stay, but you also have to understand you have a right to leave, right? You have a right to leave. And you have to understand the legalities of splitting the financials, because the whole point of being divorced is not wanting to stay in the home. So that's his way of trying to claim the home. You have to stand up with legalities on how to split the financials, being that you're going through a divorce, because it's 50-50. Right? So that's what I'm talking about, legalities. Because he has a right to stay as you have a right to leave, but you also have to be compensated and split the financials. You know what I'm saying? No, what? Yeah. So you're in the process, get divorced, get that going, and allow yourself to split the financials. This as much as you can stay, you can leave. And then you can set yourself up to be able to do so. But he's not gonna leave anytime soon. But I think that you need to be focused on finalizing the divorce. Finalizing the divorce and allowing yourself to split what you need to take to be able to move forward and to not be around him. You know, I mean, you could do something as silly as putting a restraining order against him. I mean, that would be kind of interesting, right? But no, finalize the divorce. I know it's in process, but when it's finalized, you can separate and split the assets as needed. Okay? Yes, we are early in the divorce. Yeah, of course. So, you know, you'll at least have to deal with that until the divorce is finalized. But he's not going anywhere. And he really doesn't want to deal with the financials. You know. Once the divorce is final, I think things will be better. I just think he doesn't want to split the financials right now. And I guess it makes sense because divorce isn't finalized. But once it's finalized, you'll have the legal advice. You'll need the legal advice to be able to split the assets. I mean, it's kind of simple. It feels very, I won't say common sense, but it feels likely that would happen, right? With him, it's a power control thing. It's a power struggle with him. And so he's like, it's my house, I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. It's not because, you know, anything other than that, not wanting to deal with financials right now. You know, so, but I feel like once the divorce is finalized, you'll have more leverage and leeway, as you know. And, you know, I think that you'll have to kind of bite the bullet until then, you know, but living as roommates in the future, no, absolutely not, if you're not able to, you know. I mean, it really, you kind of answered your own question in a sense, because there's really nothing additional I can bring to the table other than the common sense of it, right? So, you just, I guess it's more like a vent for you, right? Because you're just kind of like, oh, what do I do? It's like, you know what to do. It's just divorce has to finalize. But I just like, in his positioning, he does not want to deal with splitting financials right now. He doesn't do that. He wants to drag that process out, and that's why he's being that way. All right, Chelsea, carpool. A lot of these questions are very kind of, you know, I understand them, but they're kind of not really psychic questions, or, but maybe it's just some of you guys need a voice. You know, that's cool too. You know, just need a little bit of voice or another perspective on it, or just hear it from someone who's not attached to it, which is understandable too. You won't, but again, my love, you'll have the leverage once the divorce is finalized, because then they'll have to split the assets, and you know, bada bing. All right, this is for Chelsea. Welcome being in. Okay. Okay, I think this is supposed to be the upright too. What do you need, Chelsea, on the physical end of the spectrum? What do you really need, right? Because they're saying that, you know, you've gotten over the conditional things, right, that we were talking about before, that you've been bound to. And now that you're starting a new beginning, what do you really need now? What do you really need? So they want you to kind of think about, now that when you put this relationship behind you and you put the divorce behind you, and even though conditionally might be still there, but you're kind of like saying, I'm focusing on myself, I'm starting new, I'm starting this new chapter, I feel good, but now you have to redefine, what do you want now? And really, what do you physically need? You know what I'm saying? And getting more specific on that, and understanding you can still attend to your physical needs. That's quite all right too, once you're doing it in a direction that's best for your soul and best for your spirit. So they want you to understand that, you know, focus on your physical needs right now for you and what you're going to do about it. Not what somebody else is going to do about it, what you're going to do about it. So so they're saying to remind you, like, yeah, it's okay to focus on your physical needs now too, for your next paradigm, right? For the new chapter, for the new beginning, you know, that you're creating for yourself emotionally. And just make sure you don't get obsessive about it, right? But find the balance of it, of that, when it comes to this, because at the end I think that's going to kind of open up more doors too for you. You know, I think that would also, you know, give you a better perspective and insight on other decisions to make, you know, which will be great. I know life is suspended right now, and you still might feel that, right? You're kind of in the suspension phase of, like, you know, going from an old paradigm to the new paradigm, you know, conditionally. But that's also spiritual awakening too. That's also you recalibrating and redefining. This is all good, you know, see that as good. They keep saying to redefine, you know, re-emphasize your new preferences and what you need, right? And then at that point, then of course, then the legalities will come into play, and then things will start happening, you know, in the legal sense when it comes to the divorce, you know, your divorce. So yeah, redefine now what you need moving forward and what you want moving forward. That's something that's going to be very positive for you, as you're not putting those desires, attaching it to a person. You're doing it from the self, and that's, you know, going to be very helpful for you moving forward. So yeah, it's okay to say, okay, I want this now. You know, I need this now. You know, I need this. I want this, and that's good now, because part of you got afraid of, you know, wanting to want something again because of letting go of the older conditions. You're like, okay, can I want anything again? It's like, of course you can. You have a new direction, so you have to redefine it. Completely okay. Elevate. I'm going to close down these readings because I don't want to go on too long. Okay. Hi, Katie Cardpull. Okay. Let's see. Whoa. That was interesting. Hi. Okay. Interesting. You feel like there's a lot of people coming at you, huh? Elevate. Katie, sorry. I'll call you Katie. I feel like you're feeling like there's a lot... Jesus, and then the cards are falling all over the place, too. You're at a point right now, and I think it's good, that there have been maybe a lot of people coming at you, right? With their energy, with their input, with whatever the case is, a lot of these people coming at you. And I think now you're starting to say, you know, you're standing your ground saying, no, I'm not tolerating it anymore. I'm not doing what these people want of me anymore. I'm not going to appease these people anymore. I'm going to focus on my happiness. I'm going to stop being loyal to what I should not be loyal to. I've been loyal to so long with these people and coming at me, and they're saying that you're finding a new sense of love for the self, which is great, and that you're shifting. You're now holding your ground. They're saying you're holding your stance right now, which is good. And I think there might be somebody new coming in too romantically this year. So you might start dating this year, or have a new love interest, or an expansion of a love interest, or just a new love when it comes to even like a creation of yours. So I think that's the door opening up, and I feel like everything's coming to fruition, that you're kind of on the path, the new path that you wanted to change from the old path. So so I think that's really good. You're kind of blossoming out of that dark path, because they're saying, like, the path is coming to fruition. I haven't been showing the cards. I'm sorry. I'm just like reading them here, and there's a lot. So you've actually ignited the new path, and so all you have to do is just follow it. As simple as that sounds, just have to follow it. So that's good. I think that's really good, in a sense of, and it's almost like, in order for things to really kind of work for ourselves, we got to make it work psychologically in the mind, right? And really kind of get that in order. And once we kind of do, then we can separate and disconnect, and then life really happens, because we made the realization, and that's when spirit got your back. So, and again, this is you being like, feeling like everything's pulling at you, kind of trapped energy. And this is, you kind of standing your ground emotionally, that in this context, I read that. And the Ten of Cups is all about finding your happiness, and then of course, the Strength of Reverse is to me, in this sense, about not being loyal to any longer to what has been, you've been loyal to. So that's how it reads for me in that context of the cards here. And then, of course, the Path of Fruition, and we got the Lover's card. So I think this new chapter might open up the door to love. Okay? So I love this new path. You're finally on it. You're trekking on this new path, it feels like. So that's good, and I'm excited for you on that. I'm excited for you on that. Yay. I mean, I don't mean that yay that's sarcastically, but I mean like yay, like in yay. That's awesome. Seems like Elevate is elevating, right? Regina, how are you, my dear? Okay, let's just get, this is for Regina, Particle. See, a lot of times the reads are also confirming, right? And saying, you did this, great job. Like, that's also too. It's not also always future related. A lot of times it's like confirming and want to give you like a validation, which is what I like about a lot of times when the cards pull out that way. Let me double check on this real quick, because I'm rusty on this interpretation on the Nine of Pentacles, which is, yeah, I thought about that, but I don't know how that's fitting in here. Let me pull a clarification. Okay, I guess that makes sense. All right, well, they're saying, I don't know if you've been running away from your home at all, if you've been running away from being at home, or you're trying to spend more time away, but I feel like you are detaching from the home life, or at least detaching from, an older pattern that comes from your home life, I feel like. And I feel like you're starting to like make some moves. So it's kind of similar to with Katie. And I think you've been finding your own solace in your own solitude, right? Your own power in your own solitude. And I think that this is going to be helpful with your finances this year, primarily. And I think within that, hold on. Yeah, I think you're going to, I feel like it's going to be open up doors to business and work this year. And so maybe you've been feeling antsy that you have been like staying at home, or you've been kind of getting out of your home life, and you're just shifting out of that. You're kind of taking more movement. There's a lot of movement going on, okay? When there wasn't a lot of movement before. So I think that's going to kind of shift in 2024. And it primarily looks for business for me and the financial aspect of things for me. It feels like a release as well to me. So it's kind of vague in a general essence on this regard, but it's more like letting you know that, you know, what you have been doing to kind of create movement and finding that strength within and the solitude within yourself in that sense has actually been doing you a benefit. So maybe you've been spending more time in meditation. Maybe you've been spending more time in self-reflection. And so they're saying that's what's going to start creating movement when there wasn't movement before, you know. And so not so much that you should be disconnecting from your home life, but make sure that you are actually shifting, you know, the home life in a sense, and transforming it in a way that's very beneficial for you, and finding a living situation or even a environment that is more beneficial, you know what I'm saying, and more in alignment to what you're wanting. That's what I think is important when it comes to the home life, and saying, do you really want to be living where you want to live? Do you want to live in a different environment? Do you want to find a better place that's more indicative of your energy and create that movement? You know, because I was saying you've been saying there's been a lack of movement, you know, and I think that that's going to change. I think a lot of that's also going to provide for you more financial gains this year, you know, more generally speaking. And it's just a card pull, but so it's good. It's good. But I feel like you've been making movement internally, consciously. Again, whether through meditation or whatever, you know. So it feels to me that, you know, you're definitely going to be moving on. Feels good to me, actually. It's almost like you're creating your own vibe now, Regina. Creating your own vibe. You know, you're creating your own flow right now. You know what I mean? So good investments next year. Or this year, excuse me. Because we're ready in 2024. I'm so used to saying next year, last year. But this year's a lot of good financials this year. Okay, we have Erica Emoti, if I'm saying that correctly. 2 questions here. Is there multiple opportunities this year to travel and to meet new colleagues, soulmate friends, and so on? What do these look like, feel like, locations, timing, and free to random channel and whatever comes to you through any topic? Let me see. You're kind of answering your question there. Let's look. There's gonna be I feel like there's gonna be 2 major trips this year. I get like April, May, and also even November. So April, May trip or something, and then November. So so I feel like there's gonna be 2 I would say trips or beneficial trips in a sense. And I do see you connecting with newer connections, newer, I don't want to say new, maybe people are in the same realm as you, and it looks like a convention. I think one of these might be a convention, you know, or I don't know what else I can call it, but a convention maybe, or a retreat. So one will be of that nature in the similar premise as you. And I feel like you meeting 1 or 2 significant people that really do connect within the space that you're connecting in. What I feel like you connecting with speaking. I don't know. Maybe you get an opportunity to speak this year, Erica. Maybe you get a speaking opportunity this year. A speaking engagement or something. I think you need to speak about something, or an opportunity to speak about something. So, yeah. I mean, soulmates. I have a different connection with soulmates. Soulmates is anybody in your life that helps you on the soul level. But I feel like you'll be making new connections. But I feel like you'll be connected with a community of people that maybe work in the space or do the similar space as you. But something a bit invited to speak for something would be very, very interesting and cool. One feels like Central America. I mean, that's a very general question. I don't know what you mean by soulmates and friends and so on. I don't know what you're asking there. But I think you'll meet new colleagues in that sense, which to me kind of goes along the lines of soulmates and friends in that sense. So it kind of fits in the same bracket to me. I feel like you'll be more busy in the workspace and maybe not so much in the relationship space, right? In a sense of, I'm starting new deep friendships. I think you're starting friendship colleagues in that sense. I'll put that in like a bracket. New colleagues / friendships. That's how I'm seeing it. And yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying, Erica. I've seen many more colleagues / friends, right? I'm not seeing many friendships, like it's personal friendships developing, more colleagues / friendships. I hope that makes sense to you. And two important trips. Like I said, I've something April, May, and something in November, something around those times. I feel like, and one feels like a convention or a retreat. And one feels, and I feel like a connection to Central, America, maybe like Texas or something of that nature, or San Antonio. I don't know if I'm reading that clearly and specifically, but yeah, many options, many opportunities. And so, but very work expanded this year, more work, and again, work friends type of thing. So yeah, definitely much with that, and anything else that's coming through off the bracket. Somebody's gonna have a baby boy this year too. Somebody's having a baby boy, and either your family or friends. I feel like it's gonna be a new addition with a baby boy this year. A new baby coming in somewhere. No, I know it's you. I said someone around you, not you. I know that. Okay, but either a friend or a family member. I feel a birth of a new child is around you as well. Any advice they want to give her? No, not with Erica, Sydney, but around her. But I feel like the significance is like it's something happy. It's something that's a good energy. And I guess they're saying this is a very stupid thing, Erica. You must see whatever they want to say. They're asking to bring more flowers into your environment, more floral connections. They really need you to work with more of the green thumb. And so I think that again that there needs to be more of that essence around you. And there's something with the color pink and purple. I don't know what that is, that color, why, but something of that nature I feel like would be great to bring in your environment, they're saying. So there's going to be a speaking engagement, I feel like, or asked to speak about something, and you have to write something too this year. You know what I'm saying? You have to write something up too. Write or outline something, orchestrate something with writing as well. All right, so a lot of projects. So it feels busy to me, Erica. Feels really busy. I'm interested about that speaking engagement or the ask to be, to be speaking about something. That's be very interesting to me. The writing part or writing something up or outlining or planning something seems something like you would do. And they're showing me like a whole line of books, so you might have to research something to be able to get it done. So, yeah, very, very. There's a lot going on, a lot. The time frames might change a little bit because sometimes I can read an essence of that, so that might be a little wobble. But definitely very career oriented for 2024 for you. And relationships connected to that, like friends connected to that, but not so much you're like having all these personal relationships. But the good thing is these clients and these other connections within, you know, those who work around you, they could turn into personal relationships and friendships. So it's a win-win in a sense. All right. Rashida, my guides have been quiet lately. I miss them. What do you mean your guides have been quiet lately? Maybe you're not listening enough. I think you need to be listening more. Because sometimes our guides, what they want us to do is to really hear ourselves think, not so much be infiltrated by inspiration, but listening to ourselves more. You know what I'm saying? And so I think you need to let the guides let you hear yourself, Rashida. Oh, Erica, where did you leave off, Erica? Where did I leave off? Because they were saying something about bring floral in and you having to write something up and like orchestrate something, writing something and planning something, like outlining something. That was additional, we said, Erica. Working with plants, bringing the floral into your home, to connect with floral and the green thumb more so, to bring that vibe in. And, you know, I was just kind of repeating about that speaking engagement, and as well as having to outline or write something out or plan something out and researching of how to do that. Something new, very busy in the work front. That's what I was saying. So if you missed that, I just wanted to repeat it for you. But back to Rashida. Rashida, sometimes when the guides take a step back, it's because we have to listen to ourselves and hear how we're processing. You know, you need to understand and maybe see how much you get yourself stuck in a mental loop, right? And a lot of times those mental loops can also block ourselves from actually hearing what our guides really are saying. So I'm sensing you're in a little bit of a mental loop still. And you need to kind of observe yourself, how you're over-processing and how you're actually continuously in that mental loop, that's kind of, I would say, distracting you and distorting your perception. So allow this time when your guides are taking a step back to allow yourself to be more objective with how you're processing. They're saying, because your guides are telling me you're cycling. You cycle a lot. And so you need to watch yourself cycle so you stop freaking cycling. You know, and just start changing something. You know? So that's what they're saying. But they're trying to take a step back because your cycling is becoming so loud, it's just, they're not able to like show you. You know, look, if you felt blocked mentally or spiritually, there's no such thing. Okay? It's an illusion. You can't be mentally or spiritually blocked. What you're doing is you're putting something before your mental and spiritual well-being. What are you putting before your mental expansion? What are you putting before your spiritual well-being? And chances are what you're putting before is the what ifs is becoming a priority over I'm going, I'm doing. Right? So what are you putting before your spiritual well-being? What are you putting before your mental well-being? And I'm sensing it's a lot of the what if. And it's always the negative, what if? You have to stop letting yourself fall into that and say, yeah, well, I'm going to make this happen and be more definitive. It is that simple. And you know I'm Virgo rising, so no excuse, Rashida. I'm Virgo rising too. Okay? You know, and sometimes I have to watch myself cycle. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm just saying the same shit, right? And it's good to be objective. Now's the time to be objective and watch yourself and watch what you're doing yourself and watch how you're not really answering any questions for yourself. You know? That's what they want to say. And that's what they're trying to get you to realize. You know? Because at some point you're going to have to start taking that brain and steering it for yourself. Okay, excuse me. I have one more, and then I'm going to be done. I'm just going to check. I didn't check my PayPal. Because I think I have a PayPal coin here, too. Wrong PayPal. Un momento, please. I have two PayPals. I'm logged into my other one. You too, my love, because you get it, right? The thing is, you know it, but what are you going to do to fix it? And so that's why your guys say, okay, we're going to make her objective. We want her to watch herself doing this. Because once you watch yourself doing it, I'm telling you, you'll be like, hell no. You're like, hell no. Okay. Okay, good. Last one, last but certainly not least, is that is Stephanie Williams. What is blocking me from my guy? Blocking you from your guy? I'm trying to... What is blocking you from your guy? Or what is blocking your guy from you? Let me see. Let me just look at the dynamic because it doesn't... the question, the grammatical part of that is confusing to me. What is blocking you from? Am I the only one having an issue with that phrasing? What is blocking you from him? Or what is blocking... I'll just say what's blocking... Let's do this. What is blocking the relationship? Wait, Tammy has a question on PayPal? I don't see anything on PayPal. For Tammy. No, I don't have anything on Tammy for PayPal. Yeah, no, I don't have anything for Tammy on PayPal. Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for the clarification. Because from finding him, because I'm like, the question, I'm like blocking you because I'm like, I didn't really, honestly, I didn't like feel anything there with like a guy. I'm like, that makes sense. Was blocking you from meeting him. Now that makes sense because the question always laid out. I'm like, it didn't make sense because I didn't feel anybody. Okay. What's blocking you? Let me see what's going on with you. You're kind of in like a weird balance with yourself. It's very interesting. It's funny when I see somebody wanting somebody in their life so much, but you have a fear of being vulnerable. There's a fear of really going deep. So this is layered for me. It's like, you know what you don't want. You know the garbage you don't want to experience. But at the same time, what you do want requires you to go deep, but you're afraid of going deep. Or afraid of being vulnerable. So it's kind of like, then you're kind of at a juxtaposition where you're just like, nothing's happening. Because you know what you don't want. You know the crap you don't want to deal with. But then what you do want requires you to be vulnerable. And there's a fear of being vulnerable, is what I'm sensing. That's getting in the way. So the question I have to ask is, well, why is there a fear of being vulnerable? And I think it's just a self-acceptance thing, you know? And really feeling like someone can really accept you for who you are. That I feel like you might be having a subconscious issue with. And need to kind of dive deeper and saying, well, why wouldn't anybody accept me for me? If I meet someone who's like me, then we'd be on the same page, right? You just have to tell yourself a different narrative in that sense. So you're kind of putting out two different energies. I don't want that, but what I do want, I have to be vulnerable for, but I fear being vulnerable, and that's a subconscious thing. So how can you get past the fear of being vulnerable? Well, not caring. And what is going to happen if you allow yourself to be vulnerable where someone actually goes deep with you and accepts everything about you? What does that look like? Right? And so I think envisioning, you know, someone equal to you that has the same qualities, the same quirks, and in seeing that compatibility mentally will definitely help you to really say, you know, I don't have a fear of being vulnerable because I'm actually just sharing myself with someone who's a reflection of me. You're going to have to process what I said for a little bit of time because you're going to be like, I don't know about that. I guarantee you right now, you're probably like, I don't know about that. You're going to have to think about that for a little bit of time, and it's going to make sense to you, I promise. But remember, I'm seeing specifically, you know what you don't want, so you're keeping that at bay, but what you do want requires vulnerability and requires you to go deep in self-acceptance, and that scares you on the subconscious level. So just have fun with it and just see someone connecting with you with the same energy, the same quirks, the same desires, the same interests. Therefore, there's nothing to fear on that. You know, and I think you had to work hard for, you know, people's approval to a certain degree, or you've just been working hard for people's approval to a certain degree, and you don't have to work hard for people's approval. That's also something that needs to be pulled out of your intellect, is that you don't have to work hard for people's approval. People either approve or don't. You don't have to work hard for people's validation. It doesn't have to be work. It's a result, right? And so when someone cares about someone, the result is they just validate them. They approve. You know what I mean? So if you shift that and you just open that up, then you'll start attracting the people that you want, and also you'll be behaving differently, right? And so yeah. All right, we're done here. Tammy, I did not find. Okay, I just got Tammy's now. We're closing down the readings, guys. So no more. So don't be booking anymore because I have to close down. But I have Tammy just sent hers in now. I'm going to read that, and someone else just put in. So the readings have been closed down because I got to end the night somehow at some time and gather my energy from being sick. But Stephanie, you might have to rewatch this, okay? And rewatch and listen to the message again, so it kind of clicks. Because I said you're not going to understand it now, but it's going to make sense in time. In fast time. Not too long of a time. Chris, you're fine. You stood too long. I'm about to end it anyways. You didn't have to stay that long, Chris. Good to see you. Thank you for coming, Christopher. Okay, Tammy, I gotta get this going. Hi, Scott. I just started a new job this week, but another potential job opening contacted me today. How do you see... I'll tell you what I feel. See you, Erica. Good night, love. Honestly, I don't care for the new opening. No. I think what the position you have now is a better fit for you. I feel the opportunity just feels less than. So, it feels heavier to me. So I feel like if you were to scope it out, you might realize there's something off with this other opportunity. I feel like where you're at now is a better match for you. So explore it. Use your intuition. You might feel like there's some heaviness or something doesn't feel right about it. That's what I'm getting about it. But I would say the current position you have now is a better match for you. Okay? It's a better match for you. And I think that, again, there's a lot more growth. I think there's a lot of growth where you're at. And I think that it might not appear that way right now, but I think there's a lot of growth where you're at now. A lot of potentials for growth. It just, the new opportunity feels too restricting or too controlled. You know? It feels like a heavier energy versus where you're at now feels lighter and, in time, better expansion, better room for growth. All right? So explore the idea and explore the second opportunity, but be very conscious and be more intuitive and have discernment about it, okay? So you can read it better and see what I'm saying. But I think there's a lot more growth and opportunity where you're at is what I feel like. And I just like the vibe feels better, you know, at your current place, the new place that you have now. The second one feels like it's like shows more than what it really provides, and there's just a lot of misleading things about it for me. All right. But where you're at now, I like the energy of where you're at now. There's a lot of great movement for the future on that one. So, I feel like you've already scored, Tammy. Okay, I think you've already scored. Okay, last one is Julie, and then we're gonna conclude the night, which is a random card pull. Let me do this and clear my table. Someone needs to be in isolation. The Hermit card is just popping out at me. Good night, Allie. Good night, loves. So I've only had one coughing fit tonight. I'm pretty happy about that. And it's just like an itchy throat. It was like 2 weeks of like congestion and sore throat, and then it's just like an itch. It gets dry, and I just get the itchy throat, and it's like, ugh. So only had one of those spells today, so good. Okay, this is for Julie Archeroff. It's interesting that card came out again. Oh, there we go. I'm talking about one choke spell, and then I'm having another one as I speak. Okay. Well, Julie, there seems to be... We've got the Nine of Swords again with you, which is feeling defeated and kind of everything coming at once. And I'm getting... There's a sense of heartache. Or there's a heavy heart here, Julie, you have right now. I think it's time to slow things down a little bit. And when I say slow things down, I'm talking about maybe slowing down how you're pushing yourself and slow things down and be objective and really figure out what's going on around you to purge this heavy energy. You know, especially when it comes to the heavy heart or the disappointment, like heartache and whatever that might be. And allowing yourself to get, you know, that's why I said the Hermit card, to be in isolation, to heal it. And you heal it by addressing it, transforming it, and talking about what you deserve, and then letting go of it. A lot of times we say let go of things, and people are like, what the fuck does that mean to let go of things? How do I let go of it? I'm still holding on to it. It's like you let go of something, you're able to let go of something when you transform it into something that is a valuable lesson in your life and an expansion. But they're saying it's time to slow down a bit. Maybe you're pushing too much in circumstance, and to spend more time with yourself to understand what you truly need, and to let go of the pressures around you, and to let go of the heavy heart, the heartache that's going on, right? And it could be a relationship that you had to let go of, and that could be any type of dynamic of a relationship that's still, you know, weighing on your heart. It's time. It's weighed. It's played its course out now. It's like it's occupied enough of your energy, you know. So it might be time for you to kind of release that and take some time within yourself for that healing. Okay? I think what's held you back is a fear of moving forward. I think that's been a lot of what's holding you back. Fear has been holding you back. The fear of moving on. The fear of being your own being. You know, and now it's time to be more self-reflective. You know? And acceptance. I mean, the cards are amazing with it just coming out. You know, and having acceptance of what is and what was. And moving forward with that. Say, I accept it for what it is. Now it's time to move forward. Now it's time to create a different chapter. That's where you're at with this situation right now. Okay? So spend more time with yourself. Slow on down. Release the heartache. As I'm you're trying to release the heartache as I'm hacking to death. Releasing my coughing. And I think when you allow yourself to do that, things will be clearer, Julie. A lot clearer. You'll understand it. You'll accept it. You'll move forward. You'll strive for better. Okay? And it'll create the movement that you need in your life. Okay? All right. Well, that concludes Thursday Night Live. I'm done with all the questions. I appreciate all you guys. Excuse me. All you guys from coming in here. And I'm going to head off before I start hacking myself to death. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Those who are watching, if you're new and you want to book a private session, they're more in depth, more specific, more connected because we're one-on-one. You can book a session with scottcruzpm.com. My link, website link is in the bio. I offer life readings and different array of dynamics of life readings, as well as mediumship sessions, as well as a session I call Intuition Builder. So we have a different options there. And I always say, guys, you know, please take care of yourselves and understand 2024, it's starting out pretty heavy, but we need to do the detoxing process. We're detoxing. Let yourself detox, especially with the conclusion of Julie's read, you know, letting go of those relationships, letting go of those dynamics that don't serve you. And right now I'm going to let go of some mucus and have a wonderful night. So I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I hope to see you guys next week. Much love, and remember, you are all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love.